Alright, so Great Codger Challenge 2026, round 1 for Flint Hills Briar, take 2, because I got into this already, and my wife called. Unfortunately I have to work like mid-afternoon through the evening tonight, which is not the normal thing. So that's why I'm here on the front porch. My wife called. I was like, I don't know how many minutes into my video here. So I was gonna call her back. The first time she called, and I know she called a second time, so I was like, yeah, she's probably worried about something, so I better take it. And sure enough, she'd heard on the scanner that apparently a bicyclist had been hit by a car in town, in a place that I do ride through sometimes. So she was worried about me, so it's a good thing I took her call to put her at ease that, no, I'm just sitting on the front porch smoking a pipe. But anyway, we'll just do this all over again for a good reason. But I have another Missouri Meerschaum, Missouri Legend Cobb, smokable second. Yeah, here's my other one. It's a bent one. That's what I started out on. Didn't get very far into it. I guess I'll just smoke that one after I'm done with this one. I have my 2 matches, Swedish safety matches. I just think they seem to work better. I have a lot of problems with matches that get old that just don't work very well. All these seem to work just fine. And I don't really get it because we don't live in all that damp of a climate here in north central Kansas. Pretty sure everybody that lives to the east of us, to the Atlantic Ocean, has more moisture in there than we do generally. But anyway, I'll light this puppy up. Smoky. I think I said this already. I have Carter Hall in here. I can pick from any of the, just like I have plenty of Missouri Meerschaum, Missouri Legend Cobbs kicking around. Ones I got out of smokable seconds packs. I also have all 4 of the Codger blends that are possibilities for this challenge. So that was nice. No reason not to do it. But I'm sitting out on the front porch with my phone propped up against a thing of Swanson chicken broth. Spent about, I don't know, 30-40 minutes earlier looking for my little tripod phone mount thing. Don't know where it went. Hoping that it didn't fall on the ground when I thought I was putting it in my pack or something last time I went camping. So that's the last time I used it. At this point I probably should just buy another one, which I don't want to do. But anyway, yeah, it's just kind of like the latest top layer on the crap sandwich that's been going on around here. It's like I told him to take one. Things had not been all that great around here. Because this is Monday morning, June 16th, something like that. Last Monday evening, we got stomped by a really bad severe thunderstorm here. here in north central Kansas and Salina, and basically along the Kansas River Valley to the east of here, all the way to Kansas City. So it's like Manhattan, Topeka, Kansas City. As far as I know, there weren't any tornadoes. But here in Salina, we just got nailed with, apparently the worst of it was here. We got nailed with, it was just heavy rain, lightning, and just ridiculous wind. Been having a lot of hailstorms, it seems like, and we didn't get any hail, which was kind of shocking. But we had hurricane force winds here. Apparently there was like a 113 mile per hour wind gust recorded at one of the official weather stations around here. So, you know, who knows what it did in the places where it wasn't being recorded with proper equipment. And unless I'm missing something, I don't think we really had a real warning for it. Yes, there was a severe thunderstorm watch. And right before the storm hit us, unless I'm missing something, there was a severe thunderstorm warning issued for like the southern part of our county, and the storm that was for sounded like it was moving away from us and was not going to be an issue. So I think it was a different storm. Shortly after that watch was issued, this big, just red radar blob marched right over the top of us and just tore everything up. Essentially just with wind, along with the thunder and lightning and heavy rain. But can't remember if we almost got 4 inches of rain that night, something like that. Can't remember exactly. I should have taken a picture of the rain gauge. I was a little bit overwhelmed with everything else that happened, I guess, to bother to do that. But throughout town, it knocked down a lot of trees, some of which were big, old, established hardwood trees that were like, I don't know, 100 years old, 80 years old. I don't know how many of this happened to, but there were some where it just knocked the whole tree over, just uprooted it and just ripped the sidewalk up that was next to it. You know, fell over on a house or something like that. In our yard, got a Baltimore Oriole. I have a Baltimore Oriole feeder with grape jelly in it up here. Just probably wishing I wasn't here so I could go eat some jelly. But we had lots of tree limbs down. Heard one hit the roof of that's over our porch here. And I was afraid it was going to tear the roof up to where we had to get a new roof. A lot of other people have got new roofs around here because of the hail damage. I have a feeling if somebody looked at ours, they would tell us we probably need a new roof, even though it looks fine to me. Fortunately, our roof was okay. But have a big Siberian elm tree, which isn't the greatest tree, but it's a big, established, shady tree, so don't really want to pay to chop it down and plant some little sapling in its place. But had a lot of limbs down from that. In our backyard, the back garden, as I like to call it, we had a birch tree that died last summer. And I was getting around to cutting it down, amongst the other things I need to take care of, like painting the trim that really needs it badly on this house, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, that birch tree took care of itself because the thing snapped off at the trunk. About, everything above about 6 foot, just clean snap right, transaxially snapped off through the trunk. Whole top of it went over the fence. Fortunately, it landed on one of the fence post parts. It's a vinyl fence. I have a feeling if it landed on a panel, it would have knocked the panel out. So Monday night, like 11 p.m., I was out there, landed in the neighbor's yard, kind of smashed up some of their garden crap they have in the front yard. That maybe I'll get into that, the people that live back there now, in another video, but I'll save that for later. Not too thrilled with those people, but anyway. So Monday night, I was out there with my trusty Silky handsaw, which I use for camping, but it is like a Japanese arborist saw, so they work great for cutting up tree stuff. So I was there cutting up that and getting it out of their yard because I felt bad that it fell in their yard, despite the fact I don't really like them. So I got that taken care of. Anyway, goes without saying the power went out. Well, our house, we lost power, somewhere, mid-late-ish Monday night. We didn't get it back on until about 2 a.m. on Saturday. So we were without power for over 4 full days. And I understand that the whole town was torn up power-wise. It was going to take the linemen forever to fix everything. I totally get that. But I really do kind of wonder if something happened with our neighborhood to where it should have gotten taken care of sooner than it did. Because based on what I saw on the coverage map, the night when they were, I don't know, I last looked at 4 or 5 hours before we got power back on, maybe. I didn't see any other, multi-block side, like 2-block plus size areas that that still had an outage at that point in time. We seem to be the only one in town. And earlier that afternoon, late afternoon, the update on the outage website said something effective. Well, we're basically done fixing Salina. If you still don't have power, call this 1-800 number. So I did. And while they showed that they still had a ticket open for our area, the lady was like, "Are you sure your neighbors don't have power?" I'm like, "Yeah, the whole side of this 2-block area didn't have power." I'm like, oh, okay, well, So, both my wife and I, throughout the week as time went on, the whole situation became a pretty great mental strain for just a number of reasons. At times I was about ready to flip out. And if it wasn't for the kindness of friends and strangers, it would have been worse for me, I guess. Just to put it that way. But some very wonderful strangers came over and cut up that. I got the birch tree out of the neighbor's yard, but it still had more work to do, and I still had this 6 feet of the tree trunk coming out of the ground. And at this point in time, I don't have a chainsaw yet. Kind of want to get one for, frankly, to take camping, so I can cut up firewood with less wear and tear on my shoulders and stuff. But I knew to do a good job of cutting that, the trunk off to make a good, decent, reasonable stump. I can't really do that with a handsaw very well. But anyway, while I was at work one day, some folks came over, took care of that, piled it all up and everything. I mean, I was really quite touched that they had done that. And then that same day, we have a deep freeze and a refrigerator, and the refrigerator's in the kitchen, deep freeze out in the garage. We just kept them shut. Hopefully the power would come back on, and then the food would start cooling. Well, as the days went on, maybe 3 days into this whole thing, 2-3 days, just almost not that I went around asking for freezer space, but a friend of mine, a bike riding friend of mine, said his deer meat freezer was basically empty. So come on over, bring the frozen food. So I did. So we had a lot of meat, more meat than I was kind of aware. Even things like we had a goose and a duck and just all sorts of stuff, and like way too many packs of hot dogs. It's not like we eat that many hot dogs, but when they're on sale, the good ones are on sale. My wife usually buys a few packs and throws them in the freezer. We've kind of accumulated some. Found more ground bison than I knew we had, stuff like that. Anyway, that stuff all should be fine. But anyway, so things were just bad throughout the week because of the power outage thing. And I lost my train of crap show story thought. I don't know what I was going to say. Things were bad. Duh. Oh, yeah. So we finally get through all that. Oh, yeah, and one of the families, one of my, like a friend of the family at my wife's church, they were gone on vacation, so they said just come over and stay at our house. So we did. I'd come over here and I still like fed the cats and took care of stuff here, and then I'd go over there. But there you could, well, we had electricity and hot showers and stuff like that. Some more wonderful kindness that helped us out. But anyway, we get power back on Saturday, and I don't know, good 9 hours after we have power, I go into the kitchen here at home, and long story short, discovered that our refrigerator freezer didn't work anymore. So Saturday afternoon, we went and bought a new one at Lowe's, which will get delivered on Wednesday, so we still have stuff in coolers. I will say one thing. It's just kind of funny how God causes things to work out, I guess. God's providence. Because we, in the last, I don't know, since the spring, I was able to buy, it's kind of a long story, kind of not. I have two Yeti coolers now, the 45 and the 35. I knew the 35, the smaller one, would be great when I go out camping by myself, but I knew that when my wife and I go on trips, it would be a little bit on the small side, so I got the 45. And then I turned around thinking, that 35 would be really nice. Anyway, I got them both through REI. I have an REI rewards credit card. So between REI dividend money and rewards money and a couple gift cards I had, I basically got these two coolers at a discount to begin with, like a 20% off discount, and paid little to nothing out of pocket for them. So kind of sort of got them for free. Not really, but essentially didn't have to pay anything for them. So we have two, top of the line coolers that keep ice forever. So they're chilling in the living room right now. I used to think those Yeti coolers were kind of ridiculous because they cost a lot. Then over the years, I got like some Yeti cups and realized how well designed they are. Like the engineering, like the little little magnet slider drink hole cover thingy. It's just brilliantly designed. Stuff's built great. designed great. And anyway, eventually I decided that those Yeti coolers are probably worth the money because they work great. And as long as you don't do something stupid with them, they'll probably last you the rest of your life. So that's why I bought them. But yeah, that Tuesday morning when I drove to work, it reminded me of driving in Western Tennessee and Eastern North Carolina right after, like the day after Hurricane Helene. The day after the morning after, well, the evening of and the morning after when I hiked that, half mile of the Appalachian Trail by Roan Mountain, Tennessee. Run my trail named Hurricane. Just the amount of tree stuff in the roads and everything, it reminded me of that. Although, don't get me wrong, the Hurricane Helene stuff was way worse. But that's what it reminded me of around here. There are places where enough of the stuff had been cleared out of the road, at least one lane was open. That I saw quite a bit of that with Hurricane Helene. Back up in the mountains. So yeah, this wasn't a very good last week, to say the least. The city was beginning today, they were going to come around and pick up. If you piled up your tree debris like at the curb, they would come and pick it up. So I made sure to get all that stuff done yesterday. I usually try not to have to do that kind of stuff on Sunday, but Saturday got taken up with, refrigerator issues and stuff like that. And the weather was actually a lot cooler yesterday than it was Saturday, so it worked out well in that regard. Yeah, I'm smoking my Carter Hall. I purchased it at the what's that place called? Ingles Supermarket, I think, in Lincolnton, North Carolina, where we were staying after Hurricane Helene. They had it there in the grocery store, so I bought a tub of Carter Hall and a tub of Prince Albert. Had to pay cash for it because the credit card machines still weren't working because of the hurricane issues. But yet again, one of those God's providence sorts of things. For some reason on that trip, I took quite a bit of cash with me. It's good I did. Oh. I didn't have it in my mouth, so... Whoops. I don't know if that disqualifies... I don't know if that ends my time now, or I'm just going to keep going either way. Didn't try any funny business, but yeah, I kind of forgot there. So I'll leave that for the judges to decide. But in part, I don't know what day it was. It was probably Friday, and we still didn't have power. I just decided to load up a pipe and come sit out here on the front porch and just try to think a bit more like a hobbit. Sit on my outside the front door and with my pipe full of long bottom leaf or Old Toby or something else. Just another pipe blend. Maybe blow a few smoke rings and hope that a wandering wizard might come by and restore power. I mean, I just had to do just like little things to kind of like try to keep my sanity. Even just like, I don't know what day it was, Wednesday afternoon or something, I came home from work and I just went in the kitchen and washed dishes in the with cold water, just because it was like something I could take care of, something I could put in order. Just little stuff like that. And all the while, I was fully aware that, there's a lot of people in the world that have a lot worse than we had, like every day of their life. So it makes you feel kind of stupid that you're complaining about stuff. I sure hope my tamper goof didn't stop my time, because this is going pretty well. That's the nice thing about one of the nice things about Carter Hall, like Prince Albert, is like you light it once and it doesn't go out. Unlike, I don't know, like Samuel Galwith Hogarth and Company flakes. I've gotten a little bit better about trying to dry that stuff out a little bit more before I stuff it in my pipe, but a lot of times I have a hard time getting it lit to begin with, and then keeping it going is sometimes a bit of a challenge. I mean, in the end, it all works out fine, and you get a enjoyable smoke, but those flakes really hang on to their moisture, which kind of surprises me for something. I mean, it's in jars, yes, but the air in the jars slowly starts drying it out. So for something that's sitting around, in my case, for years in a jar, you think some of that stuff would dry out more than it does. A lot of the ribbon cut stuff does in a jar, the top layer of it anyway. So just over 2 weeks ago, they had the big Unbound gravel race in Emporia, Kansas. I rode the 100-mile distance last year. This year I was going to try to do the 200. I entered the lottery. I didn't get picked. So what I wound up doing was I went to Emporia. I did if you volunteer for 10 hours, you can buy your way into the next year's race, bypass the lottery. Well, you volunteer your way, you don't have to buy your way in. Although it costs like $300, $350 registration fee. It is a big event, and things do cost money. I get that, but anyway, I was going to work 2 volunteer shifts. And I took my Nikon film camera with me with 4 rolls of black and white film. The race is on Saturday. On Friday they have like a gravel bike expo thing. So between the 2 days I shot all 4 rolls of film. And at Unbound there are photographers and videographers all over the place. So anyway, I had that experience. Sent my film off to a little film lab in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I'm waiting to get it processed and get my pictures back. Can't wait because I think I got some good ones. But anyway, Saturday morning there was one of the local running races here in town. And, you know, running's not really my jam. But I decided, especially after the way the week had gone, that I should take the 1 roll of black and white film that I still have. Some Ilford HP Plus 400, I think. Go downtown and take pictures of the runners and like do some street photography because I figured more people would be around and stuff like that. And I am sad to say, and I was not at the beginning and the finish line. That was on the other side of this park, and you have to like, where they have this other thing going on. So I didn't go over there. But downtown, I did not see a single photographer out there. Nobody with an actual camera at all. And there really weren't all that many people around either. Which kind of saddened me, but here I was, this weirdo with his old 40-year-old plus Nikon camera with black and white film in it. Snapping some pictures. I think I may have, I don't know if I got good ones of the runners, but I took a few other pictures of stuff downtown, which I think might be some pretty neat pictures. I can tell this is getting towards the bottom because I can hear the wood just crackling and sizzling, the little thingy, whatever that's called, that sticks in there. One of the downtown, they have a lot of murals and stuff painted downtown. And on the side of one of them is a Bull Durham tobacco advertisement with the bull on it and all that. Took some pictures of that and other stuff. So yeah, that's the last week here. You know, survive one storm, get ready for the next one whenever it comes. Figuratively and literally. But, you know, we're all still here. The roof doesn't have a huge hole in it. Oh yeah, the house across the street has this, like, little, well, it's not too little, but there's this, like sharpened tree spear that is protruding from the roof still because it got stabbed through there the night of the storm. Apparently they just have a bucket underneath of it to catch the water that drips through the hole in the roof and runs down the tree spear. Yesterday on our Siberian elm, I noticed there's like a wooden wedge, like a kind of like half circle shaped wooden wedge. It almost looks like it was cut with a chainsaw, kind of. It appears to be jabbed into the tree. To get a better look at it, I have to get out the ladder and climb up there and look at it. But I took some pictures of it with my phone to get a better view of it. And it looks like this little like sharpened wedge was just shoved into the tree. You know, it's the depth of probably at least 3/4 of an inch or an inch maybe. And if it's what it appears to be, somebody probably would have had to have hammered that in. The problem is it's like a half circle shape, and it would be kind of hard to hammer it in, and nobody would have done that anyway. So I wonder if the storm somehow did that, which is kind of scary because I don't want to know what sort of wind it would have taken to done that. But the house is intact, so I can't complain about that. Oh, but the joys of smoking the bottom of a not too well broken in cob. Get more wood than any at this point. Surely there's still tobacco going in there. Tastes horrible. Ugh. Phone says I only have 11 minutes of data space for this video. But I don't know. My time may have ended a long time ago, so I don't know. Yuck. Had some corn on the cob the other day. I just take the ears and throw them on the grill, unshucked. Corn cobs nowadays are so skinny that it makes me wonder how big these puppies are when they grow. I know they have a special variety that makes a bigger cob, so you can make a pipe out of it still. I was kind of surprised that corn cobs are one of the like 3 good things you can make a pipe bowl out of. Keeps on burning. Kind of wish it wouldn't at this point. Six minutes of time left. He's getting towards the very end, I think. Got to the bottom of it finally. Oh, well. I did the glue apparently. Got so hot. Anyway, I think I'm done. If I wasn't done a long time ago. You have to re-glue that apparently. So anyway, I am going to bring this to a close. I don't know if that was my whole time or if my time ended a long time ago because of that little tamping mishap. But anyway, that's my round one from Flint Hills Briar. So maybe I'll see you next time, another round or not. I don't know, but I'll see you next time.